Hey guys, it's Linda Goucher here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a bit of a different video. It's more of a chit chat. I'm in my hoodies, we're in lockdown. Kind of feels back to square one, doesn't it? Anyways, I do have a lineup of things I want to chat about today, and we're gonna start off with the vaccine rollout. So in the past month, we've seen an acceleration of our vaccine rollout, and it coincides with our third wave, which has hit us full force. We're seeing 20,000 upward cases of COVID each day. The positivity rate is higher. And yeah, we're officially in a third wave. Gauteng is being hit the hardest, but the other provinces are also seeing an uptick of COVID cases. So, on the one hand, we can be, I don't know if appreciative is the right word, but the good news is that, we're vaccinating 100,000 people upwards daily now, but our rollout is kicking, it's in full swing. The main issue we have is the procurement of vaccines. As most people know, the global north has been hoarding. Vaccines. They've bought more than they needed. Canada has way more than they need. The US got way more than they need. And we have a shortage. So although a lot of people are pointing fingers at our government, they're not completely wrong. But on the side of procurement, we just also need to be very aware of the fact that vaccine hoarding is going on. And that's part of the reason why we're on the back foot. We're slowly but surely catching up. Things are looking up. Things are also looking quite scary. Not going to lie, this wave has, the second wave, for some reason, actually filled me with a lot more anxiety. I think just how far away the vaccine rollout was from us. I feel like I knew more people who were sick, and we saw death a lot more. I don't know, there's something removed about this wave, and maybe it's just my own personal experience, but I'm seeing the numbers going up, but it's very hard for me to put faces to the numbers. And that's the thing that, is really scary when this kind of situation is faceless. But I think the other reason why this wave is also felt a little bit removed is we've had so many other things in the news at the moment. Jacob Zuma, for one, which I just won't go into. You can guess my view on that, but I will not expose that on here. No. But yeah. And also it seems as if there's a lack of coverage in hospitals.
For months now, CNN has requested access to hospitals, but we were denied. So the true impact of this brutal Delta wave has been largely hidden from view. But CNN obtained this disturbing video from the emergency room at a Johannesburg hospital.
Patients are waiting, they're on stretchers, they're in cubicles, doctors are overwhelmed, nurses are overwhelmed. Not enough beds.
We know that the situation is dire. We know that hospitals are filling up and there's just not enough COVID beds. And so, of course, everyone stay home, stay safe. If you absolutely need to be around people, social distance, wear your masks, and yeah, just continue taking precautions. Some of us are vaccinated, but not everyone is vaccinated yet. Even in my family, my dad is the only person who's fully vaccinated right now. So it's a weird space to be in because, now we kind of have to keep our distance from him because he's like on a different level. He knows he's fully vaccinated. He's probably more lax on the precautions he's taking. Meanwhile, we're still at square one, So we just have to continue being cautious and being mindful and trying to stay out of hospital. The thing that I actually want to talk about that prompted this video is the other thing I want to touch on regarding vaccines and what's going to affect our vaccine rollout, and that's vaccine hesitancy, and hesitancy caused by misinformation largely. I feel like in my day-to-day conversations, and maybe I'm just a chatty and nosy person, but I feel like it's kind of become part of small talk to be like, hey, have you gotten vaccinated? Have you registered? Especially, older people. I ask out of a place of concern as well when I encounter older people, like, hey, have you registered? You know, in case someone needs help or they haven't been able to register yet. And what I found is, you know, 1 out of every 2 people I speak with, you know, is anti-vaccine. And I guess they are entitled to that stance. But I hate when a person is anti-vaccine because of misinformation. That's not okay. That's not all right, especially when the correct information is out there, and misinformation is being peddled and shared as truth and valid. You know, some people think that the vaccine is part of the New World Order, mark of the beast, 666, barcode in your arm. There's not much I'm not gonna say anything about that. But what I will say is the things that we are watching on television, the things that we are consuming, the food we eat. You know what? If the New World Order was really trying to wipe us out, they've got a pretty good grip on us already. The vaccine's not going to do much else. I saw a fake video of like, where was I even scrolling? I think it was on Twitter or an Instagram ad or something like that. A video of, it looked like 2 medical professionals, and the one got, you know, vaccinated on camera, and then they used some machine thing, and like on the side they weren't vaccinated, it was showing up like as a 0, and they moved it around their arm, and every time they went to the vaccination site it was showing numbers, and I was just like, what is the point of this? Like, if this is a real thing, please share the stats, share your information, share the study, but don't share this video that's sensational. What does that mean?
Look what I just figured out, Justine.
This TikTok video shows 2 women who appear to be using a pet microchip scanner to show what the device picks up when it is triggered over an unvaccinated arm versus a vaccinated arm. Twice, it reads a chip identification number on the vaccinated arm. Elizabeth.
You know, and I feel like there's a lot of that going around in WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups. There's a huge anti-vaxxer I know from work circles, and he's quite senior in age, and, you know, his whole thing was, you know, he's ready to die. It's not funny, but he's ready to die, and he doesn't want the vaccine, and I'm just like, do you? But me and him kind of got into it a bit when he started, you know, speaking about things that have no validity and things that he saw on Facebook, which is so frustrating. And I think a lot of people are having that problem with their families, that there's so many sources of information right now, which is wonderful for us. But the privilege of the influx of information we have needs to be balanced with the responsibility to fact check, the responsibility to also share things that are accurate, things that are true, things that are useful, things that are helpful. You know, if you see a video and it looks like vaccine propaganda and, you know, things of that nature, don't go and share it with your aunt who's gullible. You know, don't go share it in your family WhatsApp group. That's the kind of responsibility people need to have in the community right now. What was I talking about? Actually, guys, please just get into my beat. Just indulge me for like a minute or 2. I did that. Shine snaps. Okay, let's continue on to serious things. Another example of misinformation I've seen shared. I saw someone, you know, post on their Instagram story that they felt like they didn't want to get the vaccine because they're a woman still of childbearing age, and they just feel like it's going to interrupt their fertility or something. So, of course, I decided, well, first I was irritated because I was like, if they're gonna share such a thing, please share your source. And they shared like some dodgy link. Also, you can find this is the funny thing about misinformation in this day and age. Sure, you can find an article that what can I say, that validates your perspective, but who wrote that article? Where is it from? Where is the research from? You know, where is it published? when was it published? These are all important things that we need to keep in mind when we're doing our research and we're trying to back up our arguments. So, I was shocked when I saw this and I was like, no way. I went and I did my own research, and lo and behold, I found some academic articles as well, and I found, some news stories about, yes, women have had interruptions to their cycle after taking the vaccine, but it's usually it's a temporary side effect of getting the vaccine. And this also happens when women get the HPV vaccine. It's part of the immune response, and it happens after the second shot for most people. Because of the potency of that second shot, and your body is triggered into fighting, fighting the virus that is in your body now from the shot or the, I'm not a science teacher. I don't have the virology terms, but of course, when you get the vaccine, your body responds to it as if you have COVID, but you don't really have COVID. So it's that reaction that triggers a change in your cycle, and it also happens to women after they get the HPV vaccine. And it's not like a long-term effect. It will affect you for that short time. You may have heavier periods, may skip one, that kind of thing. But nowhere did I find information that people's fertility was affected. I even read about, most of the research I read about was about the Moderna Pfizer vaccine, which seems to be the most, I don't know if it's the most well-researched or it's the most which has published research about. But they spoke about in this one academic article that they tested the vaccine in pregnant women and they were fine. They tested the vaccine in women who later went on to get pregnant and they were fine. And there was one woman in the study who actually ended up having a miscarriage after getting a shot, but it turns out that woman had a placebo in the trial because, of course, not everyone got the actual vaccine in these vaccine trials. And I'm a woman of quote-unquote childbearing age. Might have kids, might not want to, I'm not there yet though. But I was quite concerned about that when I saw someone bring it up as a fact. And when I did my own research, I came to find that, okay, their fact or their story or whatever they shared is shaky, and it's dangerous to share that kind of thing because there's some people who are not going to go a step further and do the research. They're going to take what you've posted on your Instagram story as facts. So, we just have to be a lot more responsible about the things we share. Not to say you can't share like funny things and memes and like, what is it called? When it comes to trying to share health information about, important things like that, let's try and do our due diligence before we share those things. It can cause a lot of harm and unintended harm. So yeah, the misinformation around the vaccine is quite concerning because once, the vaccines are available and there for everybody, that's the next hurdle we're really going to have to tackle. Just to prevent unnecessary illness and unnecessary deaths. And the one thing about COVID that really made an impact on me seeing in the world is the fact that death isn't necessarily the worst thing that can happen. Let me not say the worst thing, but it's not the only bad thing that can happen to you. You can have severe illness. There are people who have had long COVID, as it's called, where it's an extended illness and they end up living with disabilities that they never had before. And if you can prevent that by getting vaccinated, and if you can prevent that for your loved ones by getting vaccinated, why not? Of course, the vaccine in South Africa is not mandatory, and that's great that people have a choice. But we should definitely encourage people to get vaccinated. And the other thing that, I've been seeing around as well is the fact that we don't know how long vaccine immunity lasts yet, which is like, scary. But Yeah, I can't say anything about that because we just don't know. We just don't know. But the facts that we do know right now is that COVID is here. COVID makes you really sick. COVID can kill you. COVID is very dangerous for people with comorbidities, and comorbidities can be in people who are above 60 and younger than 60. We have a lot of 20-year-olds, a lot of kids who have comorbidities that we don't think about. And we have a vaccine that can help you avoid all of that right now. So, you know, of course, more is going to unravel as time goes and there's more research. And, you know, people's concerns about the vaccine are totally valid. It's not a matter of dismissing them. Women's health issues have historically been under-researched. People of color have also been left out of studies, left out of research when it comes to illnesses and medication. So the skepticism and hesitancy comes from a very valid place. People shouldn't be dismissed. However, they need to be educated. And, you know, I keep saying they as if there's like an imaginary group of people that we need to go out and educate because we're smarter. No, not even like that. The better word is we collectively need to do better in educating ourselves and just making sure the things we share are valid and the things that, you know, it's one thing to hold on to a belief because of ignorance, and that's fine. You can do that, but it's another thing to expose that as truth and to other people, where especially it might be harmful and it can very well risk their life. Moving on to my next topic, because misinformation seems to be the theme of the day, flavor of the month in South Africa, actually. Let's chat about the decuplets. Yeah, those 10 babies that were allegedly born and never seen. You know, when that story broke, and then I think it was literally the same day the story broke, doubts started coming in. Not even 24 hours later, people were like, where are these babies? Where's the mom? You know, where are the facts? We're trying to fact check. And it was kind of like to be South African at that point in time, because it became very apparent that there were no babies and that we were trending globally for a lie. We had a Guinness World Record for a lie. So yeah, we managed to stir up an international mess, you know, which seems pretty on brand for South Africa. So there was just a lack of journalistic integrity there. The man who broke the story, I think it's Piet Rampedi. I might be saying his name wrong. I don't have it in front of me. Apologies. But he pushed the story, he pushed the narrative, and to this day, he stands by it. He started questioning the woman, saying, why did she lie? Then he flip-flopped again. Now he's saying that there is a government cover-up and they're hiding the babies, and it's just ridiculousness. And I think he just needs to pull himself towards himself and maybe step back from the limelight a little bit and admits that this didn't go the way he anticipated. We're living in a time where people are highly distrustful of the media, and that added salt, pepper, chili sauce into a festering wound already. So it's just frustrating, especially for career journalists and the like, and publications who work so hard to put out credible information. For something like that to happen, you know, people will think twice before reporting on a story from South Africa, and also South Africans will think twice before believing a headline, which is not a bad thing, but you need to have those sources that you feel like you can trust at least. And Mr. Rampedi really impeded on that trust. The second point of irritation for me about that whole thing was the fact that the mother of the supposed decuplets was just put under a microscope. She was sent for medical testing. You know, she was violated in so many ways because this guy wanted his big break. And you know what? She could be an evil mastermind, fraudulent criminal, or she could be a person who is mentally unwell and needs a lot of care right now. we don't really know that yet. So I feel like the media needed to be a bit more responsible in the way that they reported this, in the way that they spoke of her and blasted her face all over the place. We don't really know what's happening with this woman at this point in time. Currently, she's being held under psychiatric care involuntarily. I think the reason was to monitor her condition, and I do think she does need a level of psychiatric care, because what happened was just not normal on so many levels. Maybe she's in danger, from those around her. Maybe she's in danger to herself. Her state really needs to be under care and under monitoring, I definitely believe. But her and her husband are now, I saw an article, are taking their matter to high court for her to be released from this psychiatric care, because they say she's there against her will, which is something that happens. You can be put under psychiatric care against your will, but they're arguing a whole litany of violations of her rights, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Anyways, I felt like it was important to just juxtapose the two. I can't speak fast clearly, because it just shows how much weight and social space and media space fake news and alternative facts are taking up today. It's so important to be an active consumer of news these days. You can't just be passive and believe everything you see. I think that's the one point I want to drive home, is just be active. If you're going to consume news at all, if you're not, sure, go ahead, live your life, live your groovy life. But if you are going to engage in media and news, it's so important to be active, to seek out truth, and also to be responsible in what you share. And yeah. My lovely outro didn't record, but thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Bye!